Hi everyone, my name is Lacey and I'm an advocate here at the Avalon Center. My title is the Sexual Assault Response Team Coordinator, but most importantly, I'm a sexual assault victim advocate. Today, I wanted to come and do a video about a topic that Sam had touched on last week. Miss Samantha Walker did a wonderful job, but the topic at hand is very vast. It can't be covered in just one video. It's something that can go on and on and on. There's multiple sides to it. There's a lot of things. So I'm going to cover part two. And there may be more videos to come from it. Of course, we hope that someone's able to get something out of our videos. So what we'll be talking about today is intimacy after sexual assault. Now, as Sam talked about, it's hard. It can take time. You have to know your triggers. You have to know your boundaries, what you're willing to accept, what you're not, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. But instead of avoiding it altogether, there are things that you can do to make it a little bit easier. First and foremost, it's hard. It's absolutely very hard to be a victim of a sexual assault or survivor, whatever you choose, and immediately go into becoming intimate again. That is hard. So if you feel defeated because it's something that you can't do with a partner, whether it's with a partner or not, it takes time. Don't beat yourself up. So we're going to talk about a few things. But first and foremost, I would like to talk about being safe. That is the basis of where you can start to explore what you're willing to do. Feeling safe with yourself. Knowing in yourself like, hey, I've got, these boundaries I'm going to stick to, that I'm not going to stray from. I have a partner that I feel safe with. That's a huge one. Feeling like that person's going to respect those boundaries that you have set for yourself. So feeling safe is a top priority. That's number one on that tier. Going from there, being able to talk to your partner. And a lot of people talk about, well, I don't know how to tell my partner that I'm a victim of sexual assault. You don't necessarily have to. That is up to you. That is going back to if you feel safe. If you feel confident that this person will understand, by all means, talk to your partner. Explain to them what your boundaries are. Tell them, what your triggers are because you are aware of those things. But at the same time, you don't have to share that. Sexual assault is not who you are. Just because you've been sexually assaulted, because this violent thing has happened to you, that doesn't define you. You don't wear the label. So, whether you talk to the person or whether you're not, going back to the safety thing, that's up to you. That's totally up to you. But if you do feel safe, if you do feel comfortable, by all means, talk to your partner. If not, there's some other things that you can try, and you don't have to explain to someone why you like doing what you like doing. But, for instance, one thing that you hear a lot of victims say is they felt dirty after the sexual assault. And by all means, I understand why. That is normal. One thing that you could try is you want to become intimate. You want to try these things. You could become intimate in the shower. You could absolutely have sex in the shower with your partner. It kind of is that, mental thing of the shower makes you clean. You're in the shower, being able to explore. And that might help you feel a little more comfortable. It may not. Again, some of this can be trial and error. But knowing yourself, being aware of yourself and what you're comfortable with. Obviously, if you had been through a very traumatic assault and it involved shower, water, that might not be something you want to try. Again, knowing yourself. One thing is masturbation. You might be comfortable, trying to masturbate before ever, getting intimate with a partner. Trying that and seeing how you feel. Or even dual masturbation. That's something that you can absolutely do. That way you're kind of going into it slowly. You're in control of the situation. You are, touching yourself, being aware of yourself, knowing your climax, knowing those things. After that, if you're not necessarily comfortable with any kind of penetration just yet, you can absolutely do genital stimulation on one another. It depends. If you were vaginally raped and you're not comfortable with that penetration, you could try anal penetration. That might be something that could ease you into it. You could even explore with your clothes on. Not necessarily taking your clothes off yet. Being able to touch with clothes on. That could be a good start for someone kind of gradually going into it. Even with your partner, you could, or by yourself, one, to test like your arousal, what makes you comfortable, what's not. If you're having a problem, becoming aroused, you might could watch um, different pornographic movies, things like that, to kind of help, whether it be together or not. Some people are comfortable with that, some people aren't. A lot of it is about exploration, though. As you see on each topic that I'm hitting, it's kind of just figuring out, after you know what your triggers are, after you know what you're comfortable with, kind of being able to explore with some of these things and seeing how it goes for you. Now, one thing that kind of is off topic but still in the realms of things, you're doing these things, you're attempting to become intimate in the shower, you're trying different stimulations with your clothes on, with your clothes off. One thing to be aware of is some of these things may not be a thing for you. You might have went through an assault and you are absolutely out there still, you're having sex, you have partners, there's things that seem to bother you. Sometimes that could be a reaction. And Sam kind of touched on it, beyond being hyperactive after an assault. That could be something, the promiscuity after an assault, and that's normal as well. Just knowing you have to be aware of yourself. If you're aware that, hey, I am going out here and I am having multiple partners and I am having sex with others, and you know that it's coming from a place of, you don't know what sexual boundaries look like anymore. You don't know necessarily what is safe for you and what isn't. It's normal. It's something, in the future you may want to explore into, because we're not to judge what you do. We can talk about all these different topics, but promiscuity absolutely is a side effect of that trauma from a sexual assault. And then, kind of in closing, in all of this is just a few ideas. Obviously, there are lots of things out there that you can try. Some of these things may work, they may not. But like with the shower, not a lot of people would have thought about, I did feel dirty, and shower foreplay could be a way to ease you into it, where you do feel clean, where you do feel like you're in control, and reminding you that you're not dirty, you're not those things. But what do you do if you have a flashback during these things? So that can be a hard one. That in itself can be a whole topic. But being an advocate, I have to inform you, that's something you want to be aware of. That attempting these things absolutely could trigger you into a flashback. Again, knowing yourself, knowing your limits, knowing your boundaries, having a partner that respects all that. But what to do if you do have a flashback, it's all about grounding. Again, that's a whole other topic that we can talk about. That's why I said there could be multiple parts to intimacy after a sexual assault. But, grounding yourself, reminding yourself where you're at, and that you're not in that horrible moment and that horrible thing that happened to you. And kind of in closing, I want to say this stuff is hard. It is. And there is no timeline on when you should be, healed, when everything's going to be better, when you're going to be able to be intimate and be fully comfortable. There's no timeline for that. You are always able to work with an advocate and talk about these things. It can be uncomfortable. It's sometimes uncomfortable doing these videos, trying to really express what you want to express, and you could do it easier in person. You can work with an advocate to learn different ideas. This is just a small list of ideas. But don't beat yourself up. Don't. It's not worth it, because you are a wonderful human being. You have survived this hard thing. You're going to survive. We, are here for each of you. We would love to work with anyone. We would love to help safety plan. We would love to help come up with an action plan for becoming intimate, working on your triggers, all those different things. So hopefully this reaches someone. Hopefully this is something that helps. Again, my name is Lacey, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.